end of each European football season since 2011, an award has been given to the best men's player and coach of the year respectively. Late last week, the shortlist of nominees for these UEFA awards was announced, sparking debate between football analysts and spectators alike. The players and coaches in line for these awards were selected by a jury of Champions League and Europa League coaches, coaches of national teams, and journalists from the member associations of UEFA. With the winners to be announced at the UEFA Champions League draw on Thursday, which player and coach should take home the coveted awards? I am Aaron Smith of The Ball Is Round. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, share with a friend, and turn on the notification bell. So let's start with the UEFA Men's Player of the Year. The nominees for this award are midfielders Kevin De Bruyne of Manchester City and Belgium, Jorginho of Chelsea and Italy, and N'Golo Kante of Chelsea and France. Now, a lot of people have been wondering why Manchester City playmaker and last year's runner-up for this award, Kevin De Bruyne, has made the shortlist. And I have to agree with this. De Bruyne did not have his best season. He definitely was not the best player in the Premier League, definitely was not the best midfielder in the world, and surely other players deserved or could have been in this spot in the shortlist. However, making the case for De Bruyne, he did play an integral role in City winning another Premier League title, the 4th in 5 years. He scored 6 goals and had 12 assists in only 25 games. 25 games, that's a small amount compared to other players. And 12 assists, only 2 behind Harry Kane, who had 14, the most in the league. So he played an integral role in the league. He also played a good part in them winning another Carabao Cup, the 4th consecutive cup win for Manchester City. So he played a good role domestically. But what strikes him out compared to other players who were in that top 10 is that he played a role in Europe. A lot of people forget that these awards don't only cater for players who do well domestically, but cater to players who do well across the board, and he did so. In the Champions League, he scored 3 goals and had 4 assists in 8 games, and those 3 goals came at important moments in the knockout round. He scored in the round of 16 against Borussia Mönchengladbach. He scored in the quarterfinal against Borussia Dortmund. He scored in the semi-final in France against PSG. So those are 3 big goals, and he led them to that final, City's first Champions League final. So that's a big thing for a player in this shortlist, doing well in Europe. Of course, he did not get to feature that much. Well, he did not feature that much in that final because of one of the other players in the shortlist, and then he had the facial fracture that didn't allow him to continue. But he still had an integral role in them making it there. He also had a role to play at Euro 2020. Coming back from that facial fracture against Denmark, Belgium were down 1-0. He came off the bench. He assisted 1. He scored 1. What a player he is. That just shows what a player he is. Belgium is not the same team without Kevin De Bruyne. So he had a role to play there. He won the 2021 PFA Players Player of the Year. So that shows that he is regarded highly by his peers in the Premier League. So do I think he deserves to be here? No, I don't. However, you can make the case for him being there. However, I don't think he's going to win though. The player who could win the award is the Frenchman from Chelsea, N'Golo Kante. Kante did not have the greatest of starts to the season, I may admit, and of course he had those injuries and niggles throughout the year, and was playing an unfamiliar role under Frank Lampard as well as under Thomas Tuchel when he arrived in January. However, Kante was integral in Chelsea winning that Champions League title, and he showed his class in the semi-final and final. Actually, he received the player of the match for both ties of the semi-final against Real Madrid and in the final against Manchester City. No one could pass Kante in those knockout matches. He dominated the semi-final against Real Madrid. A midfield considered to be the best ever to play the game with Modric and Kroos and Casemiro could not match up against Jorginho and Kante in that midfield for Chelsea, and that's how they dominated. And again in the final they did it. that midfield for City, which was not the correct midfield they should have started, but they still started it, could not match up against Kante. Kante has that energy in the midfield and brings a driving force. He presses the ball well, he intercepts passes, and he tackles very well. And no one could get past him, and that's why he deserves to be here in this shortlist. However, I don't think he will win it. The UEFA Men's Player of the Year award for me should go to Jorginho, who played a role in Chelsea winning the Champions League as well as Italy winning Euro 2020. A lot of Chelsea fans did not like Jorginho when he first came to the club in 2018 under Maurizio Sarri. However, over the last probably 12 months, Jorginho has shown that he is indispensable in Thomas Tuchel's team. Jorginho is like a metronome in that midfield. He keeps the ball ticking. You don't see him really straying a pass from him straying. And he's important to that Chelsea side. Equally important to me as Kante is to Chelsea. He did play a role. He just goes unnoticed sometimes, but if you watch the game closely, he's probably one of the best players under Tuchel, one of the most improved players under Tuchel. And he played a very big role in them winning that Champions League. But more importantly though, he played a bigger role in Italy winning Euro 2020. Jorginho topped the list for interceptions 25, recoveries 48, and fouls drawn 19 throughout the whole tournament. I think he was Italy's best player throughout the tournament. When Verratti was not fully fit for that Italy side, they needed someone there to keep the ball ticking. And he did that. Mancini trusts him and he played that role. I don't think Italy win Euro 2020 without Jorginho. And he of course hit that penalty to beat Spain in that semi-final, which was a pretty decent penalty. So he had a part to play, and I think he deserves to be here in this shortlist, and I think he should win the UEFA Men's Player of the Year. Now, let's talk about the nominees for the Coaches Award. The nominees are Roberto Mancini of Italy, Thomas Tuchel, the coach of Chelsea, and Pep Guardiola, the coach of Manchester City. So, starting off in my opinion with one of the greatest managers of all time, Pep Guardiola of Manchester City. And Pep's men got out to a very rough start in the season, mainly because they got no preseason to train and because Pep was also sorting out his contract at the start of the season. But once all that was done, once the team gelled together and once Pep brought in Ruben Diaz, this team went firing. Pep and his team went on a 28-game unbeaten streak with 21 consecutive wins and 12 consecutive away wins on their way to the Premier League title and also the Carabao Cup title. And Pep's team played some very good football, some of the best football you'd have seen in Europe this season. And that's mainly because of him. He played without a striker when Aguero was injured. He played without De Bruyne again for probably a good part of the season, an important part of the season from December to January. And he kept the team together, and that deserves commendation. But the criticism that many people have of Pep is that he loses his mind sometimes. He makes the wrong decisions in the big moments in recent years, and it happened again this year in the Champions League final. He didn't start a CDM, and that cost the Man City team. They didn't have anyone holding the midfield, and that cost him the Champions League once again. Hence, I don't think he will win the Coaches Award this year. The coach to get the better of Pep Guardiola the most in the season was Thomas Tuchel of Chelsea. Tuchel joined Chelsea in January, and since then the team hasn't really put a foot wrong. And a lot of commendation must be given to Tuchel because Chelsea had the second most points in the Premier League behind Manchester City since he has joined. Also, he must be commended for winning the Champions League. He brought Chelsea to another Champions League final and won it beating some big teams. They beat Atletico Madrid in the quarterfinals, then Real Madrid in the semis, and then took care of business against City in the final. And he's the first coach to reach successive finals with different club. So a lot of props must be given to him. This Chelsea team were struggling before he came. They were struggling under Frank Lampard defensively and attacking wise. But when Tuchel came, he put in a structure. He had a plan and he put in a structure, and this team has been performing well since. They have only conceded 11 goals since his arrival. The only thing that we can knock against Tuchel is that he lost the FA Cup final, one of the biggest trophies or silverware there is to earn in world football. He lost that to an inferior Leicester team. Hence, I don't think he will win. He could win it, but I don't think he will win this coach's award. The UEFA Men's Coach of the Year award should go to, in my opinion, none other than Roberto Mancini, the coach of the Italian national team. In 2018, Italy missed out on the World Cup for the first time since 1958. In that year, Mancini took over from Gianpiero Ventura and looked to change the culture of the Italian national team, and he definitely did. When you think of Italy, you think of a side that is very stagnant. They're very defensive and they try to scrape out victories, or that's what history has shown us from previous years before Mancini got that job. But since he has been in the job, this Italian team plays way better football than previous teams. They do a lot of short passing, they pass the ball very quickly, and they have some very exciting players that Mancini has used very well. Without Mancini, I don't think any other manager would get these players to play like how they're playing now. Mancini was the right person for the job. He knows the Italian team and he has done well in this job. This Italian team is on a 34-match unbeaten run because of Mancini, and he led them to the Euro 2020 win. So he deserves it, I think, because of all the process that he has been through with this team and the culture that he has developed and instilled in these players and in this national team. And because he won Euro 2020, being a national coach is way harder than being a club manager, because you don't have the players with you 24/7 throughout the season. So for him to be on a 34-match unbeaten run with this team and then win Euro 2020 in the process, I think he deserves it, and his team may be even a contender to win the World Cup next year. So those are my thoughts. Jorginho should win Men's Player of the Year and Roberto Mancini should win Men's Coach of the Year. But I want to know what you think. Who do you think should win the awards? Post a comment in the section below and let me hear your thoughts. I am Aaron Smith of The Ball Is Round, and thanks for watching.